Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of the Stage Editor Guide for Pro Cycling Manager. How are you? I'm well. I'm good because I received so many good reviews about the last episode of this series and I didn't expect because I said it's the first time that I'm doing video, it's the first time that I create something like this and so I'm satisfied. And this means that also somebody of you already started to create some stage thanks to my guide. So we start from the point we left in the last time. First of all, you remember we were creating a stage going from Bra to Barolo in Piemonte. We decided to create a stage in this area because there are small hills, there is a nice river to create in 3D, the towns are nice and not so difficult to create, a good point for a beginner. So let's start. As you remember, I used the La Flamme Rouge to import the GPX and to see the profile. Why this? I remember to select this style salite.ch or the profile. And you've got the profile of the stage we created with the GPX. I told you why on La Flamme Rouge, because the profile created is exactly with the same color. Each color corresponds to a different slope that we've got also in the stage editor. Here we are. The last time we used, if you remember, to import the GPX, create the route, and create the route. We track the route, and if you see, it's not exactly the same of the GPX that we expected to have. Why this? Because first of all, the stages in Pro Cycling Manager are in scale. It's not exactly 1-to-1, it's around 1 to 25, I mean, so 1 kilometer is not real 1 kilometer, but is 2,400, well, is less. Believe me, I'm not good with math, so believe me. And the other thing is that, so being in scale, we've not got exactly the same road of the real stage. We have to find a different road to create the same distance and more or less the same route. So the profile is not exactly the one that we have in the site of the GPX. What we must do now is transform this in this with exactly the same slope and so the same colors. How we can do? Allora, first of all, you see, I went to the profile view because I prefer to move and fix the points on the stage with the profile view. This is almost, you can do the same things in all the parts, in the 3D view, in the top view, the profile view, but if you use profile view, it's better to edit the profile. We've got a blue mark and a red mark. What is important now is the red mark, and you notice that if you put the red mark in each part, in every part of the profile, here you see the altitude and the distance. And when you select a point in the profile with a blue mark, if you remember, you go with the space in the 3D part, you zoom in exactly point of the 3D part. So every time that you select a point here, you select a point here. This is important because if, for example, you remember zoom in, zoom out with the mouse, if we go here and we select a point with this altitude and we change this value, we change also the value of this point that is going to be upper or lower. To fix the profile, so we have to change the value of each point of the stage. We're gonna start here, and why this, you remember? Because as I said the last time, the stage must start 2 kilometers before and finish 2 kilometers after, because when you are going to put the departure line, this must be 2 kilometers after the real point of the route, and at the same time, when you put the finish line, it must be 2 kilometers before of the last put or the last of the last point of the route. So we start here, that is 2 kilometers. You see the blue mark on the right here, 2 kilometers. Well, to change the altitude of the point, I don't not use to fix this number, but this number, you see down there where there is written Z, You see the mouse? Yes, here down I select. This because there are many bugs in the stage editor, but one bug that is I can say that happen often is that you select a point with a blue mark, but in the real map, in the real 3D part, is not exactly the point that you think you have selected. So, for example, I select here, I can move the blue mark, and if you see down the number, the higher, okay, you can imagine that could be exactly the point. If, for example, you move here the blue mark and you have a value that is higher than here, this must be that is a bit moved, the blue mark, compared to the real point. But anyway, this is not the case. If you create a map from zero, usually you don't have this bug, so it doesn't matter. Keep in mind this in case you're going to have this bug, but if you're not going to have this bug, don't think too much of the words that I say. So let's start. Now all the work that you have to do is continue comparing the view of the stage editor to the view of the La Flamme Rouge. And so we start moving up and down with the keyboard indicators. This one, you see down, up, and make it the most similar possible to the profile that we have. That is this. Start this. It must be flat. This is going to be a long work. I'm not going to stream and to record all the time that I'm using now, but is important. One thing, the climb. The climb is very particular because you can try to fix the profile exactly like the one that you have on La Flamme Rouge, the Real GPX. But if you notice, you're going to have always some white mark. And why you have this white mark that is quite impossible to change, or yellow, because mean that in this little white green part, I said white, no, I wanted to say green. In this green part, there is a small curve, the typical curve of the mountain. So if I go to the tree part and I zoom with the space, we are going to see that we have this curve, and in the part of the curve, the profile result always flat. So in this case, to fix and to have also a small slope or a similar slope in the curve, we have to select one point of the curve. If I move, how I can move this? I keep touch this of the mouse, and I can move down. You see that each curve has got two blue points. This needs to move up, move down, move on the right, move on the left, the curve. If I move the point here, I move the curve. If I move this point, I move up and I move down the curve. So if I go to the profile, you see that it's changed here. And to fix this problem on the profile, I do the same. I select the Z, in this case not the Z of the red point, but the Z of the blue point, and I move down, 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 in a way that can be the most similar possible. Okay, you see that is a bit fixed, still is a bit yellow. We move again, a bit, we have to delete to change all the yellow part. You see that the method is very simple. You just have to take the profile view and move up, move down the Z. If you have climb, you can zoom with the space bar on the point on the curve that has got problem, and move up and move down the blue points. And then it's just a work of sensibility. You need the time and patience to find the good equilibrium, the good balance. Tak, no. You can also do this when you see that you have a point that is difficult to modify, but then it's better to stay on the profile view. We still see a yellow part, so we have to be sensitive. Okay, good. Now you see that it's going to disappear. Perfect. Now the plain part. Now there is a yellow part. This is a bit harder because there is a cross line. So maybe it's not so easy to do it in the same way of the GPX. You can move exactly in the same way the blue point and try to fix it. Seems here. Okay, it's a bit better. Can move up also this. Now I think that yes, can be like this. So we've got the blue Lamore crime exactly the GPX files are presented in La Femme Rouge. Now I continue to fix all the profile and I show you the result, okay? See you later. I stop a bit and I show you the result. So here we are with all the profile of the stage modeled like the one of the real stage that we wanted to do. Well, more or less. This is the profile of the stage in La Femme and this is the one of the stage editor. There are some slight difference that is very hard and maybe not so important when it's about just a very small part of the road to fix. But I think it is a good result. As I told you, the stage starts 2 kilometers after the first point and finish at least 2 kilometers before of the last point of the route. So in our case, it's going to finish here, that in the stage editor correspond more or less to this point. So whatever is in this part, it doesn't matter if it's not well done because it's not going to be crossed by the racing game. But it's useful to find, to learn a little trick. So for example, if I want to do this part of the route from this point to this point with the same slope, so we don't have the need to create different slope, but just constant percentage. We can do this trick. We select, as always, with the blue mark, the part of the profile where we want to start the climb. So, for example, here. And well, we can start here. Okay, we start here. We start from this point. And we want to create a constant, I can say constant, yes, when a climb hasn't got a different percentage, but is always with the same percentage. I select, keeping control of the keyboard, also another point on the same road, so it must not be this one or this one, must be one here or one here. I select this point. And then keeping touched the control, I select also the letter M and voila. If you see the profile, I created a constant climb with the same percentage from two different points that are not one after the other. This is useful also for creating the flat part. If I have a long flat part and maybe have some little climb that I want to fix, some little hole, I can select the first point and is in the same road as I told you. I can select one point and can select another point on the same route, so this one, Ctrl Control and M, and here we are, all this part is flat with the same percentage. This is the result. We can start to put also the departure line officially. So it should be, I don't remember, it's better here to use the top part to remember where was Bara. Yes, I remember that was more or less here. Here I can select the route, sprint, and some second to load all the things. I select the departure, that in this case could be a time trial, so I can select a time trial of the Giro d'Italia, this type of start. I can you see that there is different kilometers. This say you which is the right kilometer where to place the departure line. If I go back to the first 2 kilometers, you see in the right part of the screen, you will see the sentence impossible to add this object. If I pass the 2 kilometers, then it tells me correctly which is the kilometer of the stage of the route. So I put the departure here was Verrara, and then I put the arrival that was in Barolo. I can move in the top in the 3D view with the indicator. It was, I don't remember also what was Barolo, so always I can put the blue mark here and go to the 3 bar. Okay, touch this bar and it's here. I write default plot. Here I write Barolo, and this category in this case is a time trial. Well, this is useful to define the type of sprint and the type of points given, the category points given for the arrival. Classic is good for the classic, so there are no points for the arrival. Here, flat, mountain, race is something that is not used in the game, so it doesn't matter. Then mountain time trial, team time trial. These also affect the artificial intelligence because depending from the one type of arrival you select, you have also a different type of sprint, and it's better always to select the right arrival to have a correct behavior of the artificial intelligence. So this is a time trial, and we set the time trial here. We want also to put an intermediate points at the top of La Morra, maybe a GPM intermediate points, because we can also put GPM intermediate in the time trial. We can select the category, is small, so we can put mountain tree, and if I remember, it's called the La Morra. The last thing is create a spline description. This is nice because in the menu of the game, when you select the stage, you see you have like a red parts on the profile that if you go up, go over with the mouse, you see the profile of the stage. This happened in the last 2 editions of the second manager. Maybe in the future it's going to be different, but the spline description is always important. In this case, we take the red mark, we keep pressed with the mouse, the red mark, at the beginning of the part that we want to describe, in this case the climb. Then with the blue mark we put the hand, profiles, features, plan description. Here we write a description is the name of the climb, so La Morra, the type is a call, because we have town and monument because we can also put the name of a town when we go across a town. So if, for example, here in the 9 kilometer there is a village, we can put the red part here and the village finish here. We can put a spline description, call it town, and when the race go through this village, we are going to see in the top right corner of the screen the name of the town we are going to pass with the race. In this case, the stage is so small and so short that it's not useful. I don't think that also is going to pass many cities or towns because there is just the top summit town, the departure city, and Barolo, that is the rival town. So we just put the call description, and you see you're going to have the description, the average, the maximum, the minimum, that are the same information that you're going to see in the game. So here we are. The last thing that we can do is place the podium. Giro. The podium must be outside, very far from the stage, And then the last thing that we can do is check that everything is okay. There is a tool inside the stage editor that check if everything is okay, if there is some bug. Is the check stage. You can see from tool, check stage report. There is one error that is print object near intersection. We go. This means that this print is too close to this point. We can move it further from this point and not further in order to have no more this problem. It's clear that if the panel is the one that say how many kilometers there are to the top and we move from exactly the same kilometer written on this panel is not more so useful. In my opinion, since it's not stage, a mountain stage, but it's the time trial I can remove, so I use crunch and I have not more this problem. We can go again to the check stage report and okay, it's okay, we haven't got any more reports. Now we can export the stage and theoretically this stage is playable, so we can import this stage and see how it's going to be in the game. Since it's very simple, I think that we continue then with the 3D part and another part that is important of the creation of a stage, that is the modelation of the terrain. So for this episode, I think that is enough. I think that is passed, yes, so much time. I say you goodbye and see you for the next episode. Bye bye. Tack.